Okay, welcome to today's lesson. This is the 7th lesson of my 10 mistakes series. I'm sorry about the light today. I'm not very good with lighting and it's a sunny day. It's coming in through the window. Now, the first mistake is very common for my students. They use in their language the same verb as decide with problem, and we don't in English. We don't say that we decide problems. We say that we solve problems. So we solved the problem. Okay? This first one should be solve. You solve problems. Any kind of problems you solve, and other things you can solve as well. It means any kind of riddle or enigma, or some kind of problem you solve. Okay, number 2. He spends much time preparing for his exams. This is almost correct, but it's a basic mistake and it's very common. We use much with negatives and questions. This is not a negative sentence. It's not a question, so it doesn't use much. We use a lot of for positive sentences. So please remember that. It's not always true, but that rule is most of the time true. So please, it's wrong to say he spends much time preparing. He spends a lot of time preparing for exams. Okay, number 3, very common. Now, when we will get back home, this word is unnecessary. When we will get back home, I'll call you. We don't use will here, although we are talking about the future. I agree. We don't use will. Why? Because this is first conditional. If I put if here, then maybe you'll understand me. If and present tense, and then will and infinitive. If we get back home, I will call you. Well, the same goes, we have to use the same structure for when or for before. If we say before we get back home, I will call you. Or after we get back home, I will call you. As soon as we get back home. So there are other words here, before, after, as soon as, in case, unless, until. There are other words where we still follow the first conditional form. Okay, number 4, I hoped that she didn't tell anybody. No, this is almost correct, but no, this is the problem. And I hope you can see that when you're speaking to this person, you say, I hope that you won't tell anybody. I hope you won't tell anybody. Okay, you can say I hope you don't tell anybody as well. That's fine. But because we're referring to the future, we're referring to a moment after you're hoping. This is future in the past, and will goes to would in the past, and won't goes to wouldn't. So the answer here is not didn't. I hoped that she wouldn't. I hope that she wouldn't tell anybody, because you're talking about future in the past, so will becomes would. Okay, the next one. There's a lot of confusion between exactly and definitely. Sorry about that noise. There's a lot of confusion between exactly and definitely. Will you come to my party is a question. You cannot say exactly. You might do sometimes, but it's not the correct version, really. Exactly means you are exactly right. So if somebody says your name's Dave, you say exactly. You know, if your name is Dave, I say exactly. Okay, or you're 34, aren't you? Exactly. You're exactly right. But we use definitely here for I will definitely come. Exactly means exactly right. Definitely means I'm certain. I'm certain I will come. I will definitely come. So they're a little bit different, definitely and exactly. You would never use exactly for a question because you're saying you're right. You're exactly right. And so you shouldn't answer a question with exactly. You should answer it with definitely. Okay, on to number 6. If I would win the lottery, I would buy a yacht. I hope you can see that if this is the first conditional mistake, this is the second conditional mistake. If I would is always wrong. Don't say it. Okay, it's not wrong if it's not a conditional, but if I would in a conditional is always wrong. It may not be wrong in other situations, and it's not really wrong in the expression if you would be so kind, because it's an idiomatic expression now. But for the majority of cases, never say if I would. It will be wrong. Okay, you've got wood here, by the way, and you've got, you should make this past as well. I almost missed that. If I won the lottery, I would buy a yacht. Okay, number 7, the company became bankrupt. No, the company went bankrupt. Hold on. Oh, good, I thought it was had stopped working. The company went bankrupt. This is just a collocation. You don't become bankrupt, you go bankrupt. Like, you don't become crazy, you go crazy. There are a few other collocations with go. Plenty of collocations with go. So we go bankrupt. Number 8, we have very little employees. This is quite funny because it is grammatically possible, but it means that the employees are small, that the employees aren't very big. I think that you are mixing up countable and uncountable, and really you should say we have very few employees. We have very few employees. Okay? By the way, I should have put the cross there. A girl told me on the comments that it's better if I put the crosses on, and I agree it is better, so thank you for that comment. So we have very few employees because they're countable. You can see the S there, that means they're definitely countable. So few employees. We have very little time, we have very little money, uncountable. Okay, number 9, I don't matter if you can't do the project. You're mixing up it doesn't matter, it's not important, and I don't mind. I don't mind if you can't do the project. It doesn't matter if you can't do the project. I don't care if you can't do the project. They're all possible, but not I don't matter. Well, that means that I'm not important. That's what that means, and usually you're not trying to say that. Okay, the last one, this man isn't very accurate. I get this word used about people very often, and we don't use it about people really. You might use it about someone's judgment. Accurate means precise in English. It doesn't mean careful. I think my students normally mean this man isn't very careful, because I think the word accurate in their language is similar to careful. So you could say this man isn't careful. But another way which they use this word in their language, akuratni, they also use it for clothes if somebody looks very smart. And so it's a second word which maybe you mean when you're making this mistake, I'm not sure. But accurate doesn't sound right in English, it's not how we speak. Okay, please, I've forgotten to put the cross on again, sorry. That's a very good point though, so I'll try to leave the mistakes on there in future so that you can all see the mistakes from beginning to finish. Anyway, if you have any questions about any of these mistakes, please write them under the video. I'm always happy to answer questions. It's an honour for me to get some comments on the video. So please subscribe if you like these lessons, and I hope to see you here soon. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed this lesson and would like to receive more over the next few weeks. Here are some videos on phrasal verbs, auxiliary verbs, tenses, and verb forms as well, like gerunds and 2+ infinitive. Please watch them and try the quizzes below the videos, and I hope that you improve.